for the last, I would say, couple of hours, India and Pakistan have been indulging in a tit for tat. Sort of each side claims that there are missile strikes, that there are drones, that the air defense system, that they've either taken down the other's air defense system or that their defense system has managed to block the missiles and drones. That is where we are right now. Sort of we have to wait and see what happens. Normally, sort of escalation the last few days has been taking place at night. So we'll have to wait and see whether tomorrow night is going to be just as deadly as today was.
And how likely is it that the tensions will further escalate?
So Meredith, sort of history shows, and if we go back to about 3 decades, every few years there's a terror attack inside India, very often Kashmir, but sometimes some other part of India. There's an escalation in tensions. And since the two countries have turned nuclear in 98, sort of the global community normally comes in and seeks to de-escalate them, these tensions. Since 2016, India has chosen to respond with a punitive strike of sorts. That happened in 2019, that's happened again. The Indian strikes are punitive. They are not meant to be escalatory. India said that on when it struck those 9 sites, and it has said that today. Pakistan, too, has maintained that it has no desire to escalate tensions. What we also see is that global capitals have been engaged. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in the US has conversations with his Indian and Pakistani counterparts, and has even spoken to other countries like the Saudi foreign minister, China, Russia, European Union, all of whom are applying pressure on both countries and asking them to de-escalate. So what I see is there is likelihood that there will be a mild escalation tomorrow. But then the steps behind doors are also taking place to de-escalate. The two national security advisors have spoken to each other yesterday, Indian and Pakistani. The military hotline works. Both countries insist they are not keen to escalate. And both are responsible nuclear powers, so I don't see it moving up that escalation ladder.
So why has Kashmir been such a flashpoint in tensions between the two countries for so long?
So the issue of Kashmir, Meredith, you and I may have to talk for 3 hours or 4 hours about it. But in a short response, what I will say is the issue of Kashmir is the legacy of the partition of the British Raj, or the British Indian Empire, in 1947. So this issue has been there for 77 years. At partition, both sides believed Kashmir should have belonged to them. And so right now, 1/3 of Kashmir, or the Jammu and Kashmir princely state, is with Pakistan, 1/3 is with India, and actually around 1/3 is with China. Both India and Pakistan. And so for the last 77 years, the two countries have fought 4 wars, 3 over Kashmir. But since the 1971 war, in which Pakistan lost East Pakistan, the Pakistani military has started to use what you would call sub-conventional warfare, or the use of terrorist proxies under a nuclear umbrella. So there are terror attacks. Most of these terror attacks inside India have ties to a Pakistan-based terror group. And the Pakistani military intelligence have allowed those terror groups, and in some cases supported them, in the hope that a terror attack will force India to bring Kashmir, to negotiate with Pakistan over Kashmir, and if possible, hand the rest of Kashmir back to Pakistan. That is the short, in summary, the issue that we have today. Till 2016, both countries used to, this escalation cycle used to end in a series of negotiations between their leaders. But since 2015, there has been no meeting between an Indian Prime Minister, President, or a Pakistani Prime Minister and President. 2015 December was the last time. Right now, they have no ambassadors in each other's country or high commissioners. They also have a very limited diplomatic staff. They have no media from the other side. They are not giving visas to each other, and they have shut their borders and their airspace. So right now, conversation isn't possible. Hopefully, when it de-escalates in a few days, then the two countries realize you cannot ignore your neighbor or wish the neighbor away. You do have to have a conversation like pragmatic adults and move forward with it.